Good afternoon. My name is Olive Huang. I was a Gartner analyst researching CRM and customer experience from 2013 to 2020. And then I made a career break, went back to the industry, and I just came back. So this is my first symposium since I come back. And I hope you are enjoying as much as I did. I'm enjoying right now. As a result, what you'll find out is our event colleague put my profile picture as the front page of the event, and then I look absolutely 20 years younger. It's not about I'm vain, that I can't handle age. And it's also not about Gartner use AI to brush analysts' face. It's just one of those things that this is the best thing they could find. Hopefully next year I will look like 20 years older. I have two presentations in this symposium. The first one, both are having a lot to do with AI, agentic AI. So since this is so hot, we may just add some more fuel into the fire. And the first one, we will look at more in the abstraction level. So we look at how agentic AI will impact your user experience, so how you can design your applications, be it internal-facing or external customer-facing. And then the second one, which is on day 3, we will then go down into customer relationship, customer experiences, and stay away from the abstraction. So since we are on the abstraction level, so I keep joking about it with my colleagues. I said these days, anybody who says, yes, I have a breakthrough of AI, and we're very, very smart, and our AI can be very close to AGI, and then they will show you a use case, and that use case is 9 out of the 10 times booking a table in a restaurant. So I said, OK, let's do the same thing. So imagine you are a customer, and then you say, hey, computer, find me the highest-rated pizza restaurant nearby, and also book a table at 8 o'clock for 2. Of course, in reality, you know where the restaurant is, so you have been there all the time. Let's pretend we're doing it, and then the computer is run by an AI agent, says, yeah, well, OK, a few seconds later, that is all booked and has been added to your calendar. I've set up a route on your Google Maps. So this is a scenario that we are talking about, and it sounds like a bit of science fiction, but we are seeing such agents are coming to reality. So as simple as it is, it's actually not that simple if you look at how many steps the agent has to do on the back end, right? So they have to know where you are. They open the Pizza Finder app. Imagine there's an app. They search and sort by rating. Then they start calling the highest rated. Some of them may not have a web interface to accept booking, so you have to call. And then they try until the booking succeeds. And then they update your calendar, add the route to Google Map, and then send the result to you. So in this particular sequence, what did the user see? Nothing. Right, so if you are the Pizza Finder app, how likely and unlikely you don't own these agents? How would you feel if users never see your app? Or even, do you even know if your app is being used? So this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at a next era of user experience design, and this is, we call it intent-driven. So generative and agentic AI are revolutionizing the way people are interacting with computers. If we roll back time to 1970s, so we first started command lines, right? So we have to, if you are in the DOS command, you have to type exactly what you want to get a affirmed result of return on how the computer can execute. Then we get graphical UI. You have mouse, you have screen, you can click, you can drag, you can drop, you can, on the mobile phone, you can swipe, you can hit, right? So all very good. Generative AI start to change this. Generative AI start to allow users to ask a lot of different questions. and then provide a feedback. And now generative AI partner with AI agent, which means those agents and programs can do things for you. So which means you're giving an intent, and the program is doing things for you. So the challenge is that this intent-based UX will mean the end of the UX we know of, right? So in this presentation, I'm going to unpack this slowly. It's funny that every time I do a presentation these days about agentic AI, I have to start from the beginning, because agentic AI means many different things to many people. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a Gartner definition. I think it's one of the good ones. And you can always look at a few more, but I think this one is not too bad. So we say agentic AIs are goal-driven software entities that have been given or granted right from user and act on their behalf to autonomously making decisions and taking actions. So the key word is goal-driven. In this whole process, agentic AI does not require explicit input. They want intent. They also does not create predetermined output, which means they can receive goal instructions, they iterate and delegate tasks, and output is dynamic, variable. It has undeterministic in nature. So that's what agentic AI is about. And there's quite a lot of agent wash in the market. Everybody you talk to tries to sell your agent. If you don't, you think it's not true, go walk through Gartner's exhibition floor, and then that's 100% from everyone. So, the key to the agentic AI is we see the level of autonomy. We call it the level of AI agency. And the more to the right it goes, the higher the agency it becomes, which means it can handle a lot more complex dynamic tasks. Today, the more to the left, it means the narrow, the limited permissions and tasks it can do. So if you are in the AI lab, the dial goes all the way to the right, very advanced agentic capabilities. In reality, when you see scalable applications, early signs of around middle, right? So narrow tasks, and then the agents start to learn from the environment, and then it's really early days. We also see that a lot of generative chatbots and the assistant will start to add agentic action capabilities in their capability. So we say by 2028, so 5, 6, and 3 years from now, 1/3 of generative AI services will involve actions. And then it's, when you think about 3 years, right? So it's quite huge, right? So 1/3 of them. So how do they look like? I have a few examples. This is Project Marina. Project Marina is a research prototype from Google, and they are exploring future of how human and AI agents interact to each other. And then this particular use case, it starts with browser. Then the instruction from the user says, I want to look into my family recipe of cooking a goulash. Can you look for it? And find out what I don't have, and then order the ingredients for us, right? So, and this is how it does. So it does, what it does is it, go look through my drive for my family goulash recipe, buy the items I need from Instacart. And then the agent says, okay, Google Drive, look for the right document, open it up, and then user have crossed out what they already got. So then the agent can read, okay, you haven't got these few ingredients, open the shopping app, and then finish buying the ingredients. So it's in the lab, but that's reality, right? So the other example I have is, this is away from consumer world, but this is in the B2B world. This company is called Evinced. Evinced is a accessibility testing platform. So what it does is it has an Omni agent that can orchestrate, report, and fixes all the, provide recommendations for fixes. And then it orchestrates a lot of smaller actor agents. And those actor agents going through all sorts of usability use cases, going through your application or website, and then find out what was not compliant and what's wrong. So that's a classical B2B agentic AI use case. We also see products like Lutra. Lutra is a kind of agent builder that let you link your own workplace tools to manipulate them with AI. I don't know about you. I got 4 kind of business, not Gartner business. I run a farm, so I have a couple, farming emails and then Gmails, and then those emails, every 5 years you have to almost abandon it because it's polluted by all the advertisements. And then you don't rate them, and you know how many things I miss, right? So because you're a farmer, you have to register with the agriculture departments once a year, then they send you a email about you have goats, you have to have e-tags. I said, oh, goats have e-tags. Okay, so imagine AI agent goes through this inbox for me. Okay? So then 99% of the inbox is junk, but there's 1% that I have to attend to. So these are the tools that we are seeing emerging, right? So let's see, for all these examples, your request gives an intent, and then that intent sets off a chain of events. And those chain of events can go across multiple views of application. That's a bit simpler. Then goes across different features of application. That's a bit harder. And even go across different applications. That's even harder. So, but the key difference from previous technologies is this agent is autonomously plan, act, what information system and tools it needs. So now let's go back to what we want to zoom in on user experience. So what we are seeing is that between human and the environment, there's an AI agent. So there's one more step that in between you and your user, and then the user interface that you want them to see, and that's the AI agent. So then how will this agent transform user experience? So the impact is when user interact only with agent, they may or may not see your app. And then the question would be, what do these users see? And how long do they have to wait? What if it times out? How do users know it worked or not? How can a user undo what they wanted to do, right? So, and these are the questions of this new era of intent-based experience. And to be honest, the whole industry haven't figured out. So if you want to prove, you just go to OpenAI and try ChatGPT and tell me if you love that experience. Absolutely not, right? So it's very poor. So the user experience is that, if you zoom into your brand or your company, your organization, that you spend all the tears and sweat of time and effort of crafting and hoping it deliver a great experience might not be seen anymore. And that's the challenge we are looking at. And then, so for application leaders, you will need to have your own agent. So it's coming to you. But you will also think that a lot of agents that customers are using is not owned by you. It could be owned by the device. Device native could be owned by a third party, or it can be owned by the customers themselves, so representing customer themselves. So that's where we start to see, okay, what experiences in your app today that needs to be kept. So enjoyable experiences need to stay, right? So for example, we like to talk to our colleagues. We like to browse for new audio books to listen to. We need to go shopping. And those kind of experiences, good experience, will need to be remained and improved. If they're not good enough, be prepared. Your users will hand them over to agents to deal with it. And then there are some experiences, just chores. Chores are pay bills, build your grocery list, switch cell phone numbers, change your passwords, right? So how many of your features in your application are pure chores? And if you are one of those industries, be it telcos, retail, banks, if majority of your functionalities are chores, and then you are expecting customers are interacting with your brand a lot less. So are you prepared for that? Right, so as an application owner, which are your products providing a chore or enjoyment of experience? If you are just chore and the experience are lacking, then your users will basically vanish. Right? So they will hand over the tasks to AI agents. So what should you do? So you need to do three things. One is make your enjoyable experience more enjoyable. And second one is make your applications more accessible by human and by AI agents. And then the third one is use agents. Use AI agents. It could be yours, could be customers, or could be third parties to reduce the chores. And that's what our suggestions. And it's not about only consumer apps. In enterprise, it will be equally affected by agentic AI. We forecast saying by 2027, CRM users will reduce their screen time by 50% because of AI-enhanced graphical UIs, AI assistants, and productivity tools integration, and AI agents. And that's quite a huge thing. So this is another example. This is Slack. So if you haven't used Slack before, on the left-hand side, these are all the channels. On the right-hand side, these are discussions. Right? So collaboration tool, collaboration environment. And what this use case is about is a group of marketing team members discussing about the need for bringing in onboarding training to employees. And then, so as they're discussing, someone says, yes, segmentation and persona is hard to learn. So other person says, OK, let me put in a resource for you to read. And what's interesting is this person then brought in an agent called Amber. And asked Amber says, is there any training around that be available? Amber says, yeah, well, let me have a look. And then here's the training. And by the way, you should talk to this lady who is having a different group just to talk about personas and segmentation techniques. And then what Amber does, which is AI agent, is if you use emoji, says, yes, I love it, then she will book the training for you. So agent can understand the emojis. And further on, the suggestion from the team members goes on, says, well, Amber, can you just do a weekly summary for a document and share it in this channel? And then weekly, then we can track the program progress of our onboarding of our new employees. So the whole process, whole conversation, you can see that Amber as an AI agent is almost like a co-worker. And then she's listening and viewing the context of that channel. And then she starts to respond and take actions for you. And also very importantly is none of the users in that particular chat group or Slack channel needs to go to book a training themselves, look at training catalog from the enablement portal, look into any of the other enterprise tools. Again, you may be the owner of those tools that you spend hours and hours to craft that UI. So this is what's coming to us. As application leader, before you're talking about a good user experience, you say, customers, your users, I understand the UI, I can find the data I need, and it didn't take me too much effort, right? So too many steps to accomplish my task. And future, the questions become, the agent understand my request, the outcome is what I wanted, and the agent kept me informed of the progresses. So the foundation of a good UX didn't change, but what's in it has changed. So last one, how can you do about it? So the foundation of creating a good user experience for any application lays in 4 different areas. Build trust, use standards, improve your accessibility, and meet your customer expectations. So that 4 aspects didn't change, but agentic AI have added interesting twists in actions that you need to take. So let's have a look at trust. Trust is the #1 inhibitor for companies or individuals like consumers adopting agentic AI. And as application owners, they need to deliver applications not only capable, but also trustworthy. So this is the interesting thing. Capability and trust are 2 different things. Raising your capability is like raising the ceiling, and you think the floor will automatically raise with you. No, it doesn't. The floor will not raise automatically with you. So how your application can be run reliably, how can it be run trustfully, is not automatically done, or is not done by having a smart LLM-based agent. So what you need to do is a couple things. Again, this is where industry is still exploring. One thing is you need to improve the feeling of deterministic nature of your app. So you blend language model-based agents, reasoning capabilities with traditional machine learning capabilities or workflows or any other capabilities you have. So get people feel that the application behavior is more deterministic. The second one is about provide the possibilities for users to have this testing of the boundary of autonomy, which means you need to kind of grow your trust with your customers and allow them to move on and trust more. So if you are a coder or programmer, if you use Perplexities or Cursors or cloud code these days, that's the early, first area we start to see good use cases. So you have autonomy slider. If you use a cloud code, you start to get step by step, feel more confident that it can mingle with your code, that you don't freak out, right? So that's the trust angle. The second one is about standards. Remember, in many of those scenarios, you don't own these agents. Somebody else owns these agents. So if the agent can decide, will it choose your app? And that's where they say agents work the best with good standards. So don't reinvent the wheel yourself. Go for industry standards of design systems, right? So it could be open source, platform-based, proprietary, but make sure your front-end designers, your UX designers are building standards-based UX based on widely acceptable UX patterns and design systems. Third one is about accessibility. That's an interesting one. Accessibility best practices help human. It also helps AI agents. Think about AI agents as humans who need accessibility help, which means if you have high compliance of accessibility, guideline compliance, you're good. And then if you haven't added all the element labels and ARIA names, ARIA labels, so for people who do not work in this field, ARIA label is basically, so if you have an icon called search, you have to label it as search. So the screen reader can say, this is a search button. Should they execute the search, right? So because you have a lot of other elements on your app, so it has to be understood by, again, people with accessibility needs, and in this case, with agents. So an interesting side effect is that we see in the next couple of years the accessibilities of all our applications will greatly improve. Not because our human can suddenly become very, very caring. It's because there's lots of agents mingling with people who really need accessibility. So this is the thing that if you are improving your digital accessibility today, it helps you for a long term. So the last one, enterprise expectations rise. So your enterprise user have heightened expectations on what AI agents can do for them at day-to-day work. However, the software vendors today, they don't really do a good job, right? So a lot of them stuck into old user experience. Then they have a lot of reliance on people to work on those user experiences. So which means the slower they change their UI, the more likely they will be the engine for agentic workflows instead of being the front end for your next generation of user experience. And this here is also we start to see that most of agents today in the market are task-based AI agents. So they do one task, they do another task. So writing email is a task, writing summary is another task. They don't do really well as role-based agents. So enterprise is waiting for role-based agents. So like I said, marketing, sales, service, finance, supply chain. So a lot of different tasks can be done so that employees do not really have to remember, okay, I have to put this agent or that agent. And remember the agency spectrum I just talked about, we're right in the middle, right? So most agents have very limited skill of handling complexity of those tasks. That's why role-based agents is extremely important for enterprise environment today if you want to have any success of moving forward into your experimentation. So what you need to do is to really investigate how your applications can leverage and then prioritize pilot projects that really nails to the role of your employees. So one last thing, to make your apps and agents accessible by other agents, they have to talk to each other. So this is extremely important, but extremely difficult. So nowadays, we talk about multiple agents created in a single platform. Yeah, a lot of them can talk to each other. It becomes very, very difficult when multiple agents go across platform, or in the future, we are looking at internet of a network of agents that talking to each other. And it's kind of like all the APIs you have in the world are all of a sudden undeterministic. And then you'll say, oh, I need to put on controls of my authorizations and access and privacies. It's quite a difficult thing. So start to care about those protocols, right? So MCP invented by Anthropic, it's A2A by Google, is still very early, but all of them really is trying to build the next generation of universal adapters so the agents can talk to each other. So if you are venturing into an agentic AI field, then make sure your team start to learn those protocols and see what they can do and what they can't. So to summarize your actions, first of all, I don't want you to go ahead of the curve, which means you only need to do where your customer's expectation lies, and you can provide a reliable, trustworthy solutions. So Monday morning, audit your applications and discover what needs to be changed when you think about working with agents. Next 90 days, prioritize trust and safety. Instruct your engineers to really start to stick to standards-based design systems, and then ensure digital accessibility is compliant of all your applications. And 12 months period is where you really start to seriously looking at the state of AI agents, and then if you need to develop them, and you start to review your product analytics to see if you have agents coming to your world and using your services, right? So, and how are they used in this case? And then periodically review your products for standards compliance in terms of design and digital accessibility. So the last one, right? So agentic AI is going to change the UX that we know of. So that means if you are an application owner, your users will be interacting with agents, not directly with applications. How much? We have a forecast. We see by 2027, we are seeing that mobile app usage will decrease by 25%. So I want you to think on that number a bit. By 2027, mobile app usage will shrink 25%. So we have never had this big of an impact to how we use our UI for a long, long time, right? So it's very, very early for the industry. However, you need to start to rethink how your customers use your applications. You need to make enjoyable experiences more enjoyable. You need to give those chores to agents. If it's your agents, good. If it's somebody else's agents, good. So you need to make sure your agents work with other agents. And that's what we call it intent-based user experience. And hopefully by this presentation, I give you some important insights and food for thoughts for your next step. Thank you very much.